Have you ever heard anybody say, and I'm guilty of this myself, I was never like this when I was single. I was never like this before I was with them. They brought out the worst in me, man. They brought out the worst in me. Yeah, that's what relationships do. They're mirrors, and they're meant to show you your worst parts. They are there because when you're by yourself doing your own thing and no one's in your way, and you go to sleep when you want to, and you have your silence when you want to, and you eat when you want to, and you go where you want to, and you don't have to sacrifice anything, right? It's all about you. All about, yeah. So, yeah, when you're by yourself, who was gonna trigger you? Your dog? You have your rabbit? Like, yeah, of course not. When we're in a relationship, it's an opportunity to see, oh wow, how do I act when my wound gets poked? Oh man, I get really angry and I yell and I shut down, and then I walk out the door and I run. I never was like that when I was single. Yeah, because you didn't have anyone to run away from. And you can't run away from yourself. You can try to, but you can't like drive away and just leave yourself. Hey, I'm gonna take a break from you today, Allie. I'm gonna leave you back at home because I'm pissed off at you. But you can do that with somebody else. And that's when I say hurt people hurt people. Sometimes we don't know the wounds we have until we're with somebody. And then when those wounds come up, we have to learn the wisdom within the wound, right? We don't know how to have a relationship with others if we don't know how to have a relationship with ourselves. So I just want everyone to remember, when you say, God, I was never like this. So the whole point of a relationship is, can you stay centered regardless of what your partner does? Can you not take it and internalize it and make it about you? And if you do, can you take a moment to pause, and instead of react from the wound, you respond from the wisdom within the wound? Your partner is here to show you the wound, and then when you find that wound, instead of fighting about them not touching it, sit with them and allow them to hold it with you and tell them about it. And if you don't have a partner who can hold your wounds with you, and they only keep touching it and making it bleed and then crying and bitching or complaining about you when you're crying because you're bleeding more and it hurts. It's like an open cut. If someone came over to me and I'm literally bleeding with an open cut, and someone went to me because they were having a bad day, ow! I would be like, I would be pissed. It's just a reflex, right? It's not like, you're not like, this is how it works. This is how the wounding works, okay? There's an open wound. Someone hits it. I'm not like, well, that really hurt me, so I'm just gonna reflex and scream and ow, that really hurt. No, when someone hits my wound, I'm not thinking about it. It passes my logic in my mind, and it's a reaction because it's so painful that I cannot respond from a place of logic, because I'm just trying to protect the wound that's bleeding, that's now bleeding more because now you just touched it and poked it. And you wonder why I'm pissed off at you? You want to know why I want to walk out that door? Because why are you touching my wound? Why are you touching my wound? Why are you making me bleed more? Even if it's unintentional, it's like, hey, did you take care of that today? I asked you that like 3 times. Fuck! It's like, F you, It's like little things can make people explode. Or whatever that, there's so many examples. My whole point of view is on here and I have to go, but there's going to be more to this, because this is a light bulb moment as I'm changing my son's diaper, and it was an unpleasant smell. All right, but this is the thought drop, because I'm there, I'm present, I'm with my son, right? Okay, this is the thought. I'm like, yeah, mirrors are so, in my opinion, when I first started out in my relationship at 23, I had a lot of wounds I didn't know I had. And so when my partner would poke at them, it's personal, right? Why are you hurting me? You're hurting me. Can't you see you're hurting? But they can't see that, right? But now they're a reflection of God. There's somewhere in here there's a wound here, right? So now let me go sit with my wound instead of just try to have them not touch it. And so we all have these wounds, and we're like, don't touch it. No, don't touch me. No, please, no, not there. And so we're distancing, we're walking away from our persons and people because we were like, don't touch me. Nope, that hurts. Nope, that hurts. Nope. And so we're constantly building this protective armor, and we don't know how to disarm, because every time someone tries to touch you, ow, that hurts, man. Okay, ow, that hurts. And so this is where I'm like, this is where we want to numb and take Advil and take pain medication, because it's like, God, my whole body hurts. Can you imagine trying to make love if all you had was scars and you're a burn victim or something, and someone tries to, that's not going to feel good to be touched, because you're hurting, because there's wounding, right? right? And so that's where even like it's hard to even learn how to connect on a deeper way when it hurts to be touched under the surface, right? I'm talking about the emotional body, not the physical body. Yeah, the physical body hurts in the metaphor, but the emotional body, how can you connect with someone whenever they touch you, it hurts? Because you're still bleeding, right? And it's normal to react when your wound is pressed on. It'd be kind of abnormal if someone pressed on your wound and you're like, yeah, I'm doing great. Yeah, no worries here. Hakuna Matata, baby. That would be kind of like, is she okay? Is she high? You know what I'm saying? But on a real note, reacting comes from the place of the wound, and responding comes from the place of the wisdom you learn from the wound. But first, you must become aware of the wound. And so how do you become aware of the wound? Well, when you fight with your partner or somebody close to you, because relationships are mirrors, that's the opportunity. Okay, what was my reaction or my response? Did I react or did I respond? Did I react from the wound or did I respond from the wisdom? Very clear, because the reaction is going to be blurry and kind of, tense. A response is peaceful and clear, and it's not coming from the place of ego and self, because the self-concept isn't being harmed because of the identity and the ego feeling like I need to protect myself from this, okay? So we have to think about, what about this situation hurt me? What am I trying to protect and defend? What's hurting me? Now, when you have this information, this data, when you have this information, now you can use it. So the next time that wound gets, okay, this is my wound getting poked on. Okay, it's getting pressed on. It hurts. Ow, let me go take a moment with myself and understand this wound that's getting pressed on is a wound of 20 years. Okay, so maybe the person I'm with is pressing on it, but it's not their fault. They're not the origin of the wound. They're the one revealing the wound to me. And sometimes it's not just revealing. We have to be honest that we are going to have people in our lives that mirror the characters of the people who wounded us in the past until we reconcile those wounds. And it's going to repeat until we can become aware of the pattern and then remove the moving part, and you starve it, and you don't become, you say, you know what? I'm not going to be part of this. And you walk away. And that's your power in it, because you see it and you're like, I'm not going to play my part. And when you stop playing your part, and the cycle ceases to exist, and you move on to what's next, because you learned your lesson. And then once you can center yourself regardless of your environment, then you can take all information in as data. You can see it from a neutral point of view. You can take it in, scan for patterns, and then rewire your way of thinking, because you can see from a point of clarity. And so it's very important to use your environment as a way to, when do I uncenter and when can I not recenter? Because that's telling you, you cannot regulate when this happens externally. Now, this outside of abuse, right? Emotional, physical abuse. Okay, that's a different story. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you know what I'm saying? Okay, but yes, when you can recenter, it's very important, because now you can see the relationship clearly and you don't take things in personally. You're like, hey, that's just data. This is data now. We're working with data. We are information systems. It's actually really wild. Gave me something to lose. And when you got something to lose, you always have something to live for. When you got something to lose, you always got something and someone to live for.
Shooting straight down the middle.
Let's see.
You say, you say, every other day you wanna get away, you wanna see the country. I know this
Come
is
on.
just a phase, you ain't going anywhere.